Hey, welcome back to Inzarello Family Farm. Well, another year is upon us. This is the first batch of chickens to hit pasture this year. We've made a few little changes. I guess during the winter our tarp took a beating, so we had to replace that. No big deal. And we're down one chicken tractor this size. We have all the hardware coming, so we're going to be building another one of these. So we have more chicks in here than we normally would. Not a big deal. They're still chicks. They're still small. There's still plenty of room for these guys. But when this stuff comes in, old Amazon drops it off, we're going to build another one of these, and then there'll be about 133 birds in each. That's 1.5 square feet per bird. But also keep in mind, we move this every day, so they're on fresh ground every day. So 133 birds, not a big deal. Gives them plenty of opportunity to move around, spread their wings, stretch out, and eat grass, eat the larvae, eat the bugs, worms, flies, whatever they can get. When I put these in here today, I noticed they were starting to eat some of the grass, and the dandelions. I caught a couple of them eating dandelions. Never knew a chicken ate dandelions, but apparently they do. So these are going to be about 7 weeks plus 2 days before they hit the butcher, and they'll be around 4.5 pounds, 5 pounds by then. It just kind of depends on how they consume their feed. Right now we've had just let them kind of free feed right now, and then we'll transition later to maybe pulling their feed or letting them continue to feed. Depends on how big they're getting. These chickens historically can grow, 8 pounds. When you start getting around that 8-pound mark, you are risking heart attacks, leg problems, that kind of stuff. So, we're trying not to grow turkeys here. We want chickens. So that's kind of how we do it. I've taken them to 8 weeks. That's fine. 8 weeks and a few days. Never had any problems. So we have 6 feeders right now, trough style feeders, and we have 2 waters. These are, I believe, 5 gallons. They'll feed about 100 birds or water 100 birds per water. So they work out really well. There's different styles. A lot of folks do different things. To be honest with you, I'm trying to get better at what I'm doing and more efficient. So water is kind of my bottleneck right now, if you will. The water, if you watched any shorts or anything from the past, I would come out with a 55-gallon plastic blue drum, and we'd water with them. And I had a pump. So I've kind of got a couple ideas, but right now I got a lot on my plate. So as time goes on, I'll maybe try a couple different things and see what is more efficient, what reduces my time on task. For the most part, I'm doing this by myself. I do have help from my wife. She's behind the camera right now. But my wife has an off-farm job, so she fills in when she can, and it helps out a lot. But right now, during the day, the morning chores, we have lambs, as you know, if you watch some of the shorts. I'm taking care of them, doing basically a once-over, looking in the barn, making sure no one's sick, injured, or dead. So we have a few laying chickens, so I'm making sure they're okay, taking care of them, taking care of these. So then we're also hitting farmers markets. So we got a lot on our plate. So we just do what we can do when we can do it. So I've learned doing this, as soon as you have your day planned, one animal will wreck it. So we have a tentative plan every day of what we're doing. We have chores that need to be done. Obviously, you need to feed these guys, water them, move the chicken tractor. But this thing's worked out well, though. This is our 2nd year with it, and it's holding up okay. It's kind of hit some rocks on the bottom and stuff like that. I kind of screwed up because the way it's facing right now, I would be pulling it from this direction, and a lot of the critters like to stay in the back, so you have a higher percentage of running them over, although I have slats of wood that I can pull up and it'll spit them out. But we don't want to do that because you risk injuring the animals or the birds. We don't want to do that. But typically I should be pulling from the back side or pushing this way, so I have a visual on the birds. So if they get close to the edge here and I'm pushing this way, I can stop and adjust if I need to. But you know, there's quite a few videos out on YouTube. If anybody's looking to get into this, looking to, you know, whether you're doing it as a hobby for your own consumption or for farmers markets, friends, whatever, do your research. I am by far not the end-all be-all of any of this. This just works best for me, and I'm still tweaking it to make it more efficient. So follow along, and you may observe some of the changes that work best. These are on wooden skids, and they're 2x12s, so 24 foot. This pen is 20 feet, so it gives me 2 feet on each end. And all I did was just create like an angle cut on the ends, and then put a lag bolt so I can hook a chain to it and pull it. And scabbed in a piece of wood, screwed the joint together to the 2x4, and then on the 2x4 I have the bottom piece resting on top of it, and I screwed that as well. I screwed the metal with self-tapping screws. Guess what I'm trying to say. So you see the plywood helps break the wind, helps if it rains, it gives them a little bit of shelter. We do get some nasty storms that potentially come through during the summer, where the eye bolts that we hook chain up to and pull and move it every day, I will actually drive spikes on the corner ends, the concrete spikes, about a foot or two into the ground, to help keep this thing from turning into a giant kite. I mean, there's a lot of airspace here, so, you know, unless a tornado's coming, I think we'll be fine. Famous last words now. Next video will be this thing looking like a beer can that got ran over on the highway. But so far it's been good. It's made it through some storms. And if it really gets nasty, we can actually, in the inside, stack 2 square bales of straw on end. They'll have a little bit of a runway in and out, but that'll also help any wind that's coming from this direction in. During the winter, or summer rather, a lot of our storms come out of the south. They're warm storms, so, you know, they're coming kind of this direction here. But every now and then, we like to change it up a little bit. So, see, we have this plywood here. It helps on the low spots where there's holes, so animals can't dig under, or it helps to prevent that. We have not had any animals, knock on wood, hit and tear open and get in here and kill any birds. I think I had one bird was missing a leg, which probably meant a raccoon had grabbed it and pulled it, and that was it. But I have not had anything tear into this stuff and you know, just have a heyday with multiple birds. This is not the strongest stuff, but it's been holding up. I got it zip tied everywhere and anywhere. You know, I always try to look for the weak spots and you know, constantly checking and zip tying different areas and stuff like that. So that works out really well, and it's just a cheap, inexpensive way to raise birds. So is there different ways to do it? Absolutely. If you're familiar with Polyface Farms, Joe Salatin, he's kind of the godfather of this stuff. If you're in this work and you've been in it for any length of time, and you watch videos on YouTube, you probably stumbled across them. I apologize to win, folks. But at the end of the day, we really try to minimize costs, and this is how we did it. And I think this structure with the old tarp was a couple $100. So and then plus the wood and that kind of stuff. So we're probably in this thing, I don't know, 300 bucks, somewhere in there. I've used credit card points and bought it, so that's helped. Just another little trick. If you don't have debt and you're using your credit cards wisely, then take advantage of it, and that'll help drop some of your input costs. Just an idea. So, you know, you get a few years, 5 or 6 years out of these things, you're definitely doing okay. Last year this did over 500, or about 500 birds. I think it was a few over all year. This year we're looking at about 1,100 birds. We've been selling at winter markets and starting to go some of the summer markets, and we have a deal worked out with a restaurant. So we're moving these, and to be honest with you and transparent, this is 7 weeks. If you're profiting from this, your turnaround is 7 weeks for poultry. You know, I raise hogs this year. We have 14 coming. That's about 6 months before I get anything back for all the money that I put out. Lambs, about 8 months, but from the time the lamb hits the ground, 6 to 8 months until it's processed. Luckily, I mean, I have property, so they're eating the green grass and all that. So this time of year, it's not a huge input for the sheep, but these are quick turnaround. I screwed up and I didn't keep good records and good numbers. I had some generic numbers, ballpark figures, which were close. But if I can give any advice to anybody, is to keep track of your numbers and your costs. You know, spreadsheets, QuickBooks, whatever. You know, there's a million different ways to do it. So keep track of your costs, and that'll tell you where you need to pivot. You know, or is it even worth doing? Is it worth selling them? You know, so every state's different, every market's different. So I can't say that, oh, you're going to make X amount of money off these birds, because I live in Wisconsin. You know, we have grain all around us. I'm in the grain belt. So, you know, you're in a different state where you don't have access as easy, and you're trucking in grain and stuff like that. Your grain costs may be completely different, which throws everything else off. But, you know, they are eating grass, that kind of stuff, so that's supplementing them. And then we're feeding them conventional feed. So, yeah, so that's pretty much the beast in a nutshell. I don't know what else to call it, but she's still alive, and birds are doing good in it. So, any questions? Leave them in the comments. Like, subscribe, and share, and thank you for watching.